to Algebra 1, Lesson 17. We are talking about exponents and bases today. Okay, we've already talked about exponents before. You guys know those. They're really simple, right? They are basically a shorter way of writing your multiplication when you want to multiply something over and over and over again. For example, if I have 5 and I want to multiply it by itself 7 times, I could write it out as 5 times 5 times 5 times 5 times 5 times 5 times 5. I could do that, but there's a simpler way. I could write 5 with a little 7 right above it. That shows me that I have 5 to the 7th power. 5 being multiplied by 5 7 times. So I have 7 5s being multiplied together. So when I write them out, this is the basic form. I have a number represented here by my x, and then I have another number up here represented by my n. This number that's small up here in the pink, we call that an exponent. The number that's bigger down here in the blue is the base. So we have the exponent and the base. When we are talking about our exponent, we sometimes refer to that as a power. So here I could say that 5 is raised to the 7th power. If I'm talking about the answer, the value, I would say that the 7th power of 5 is, and then I would tell you what the answer to 5 times 5, 7 times would be. So when I'm writing out my problems that have exponents, they'd be written like this. Here I have x to the 4th power. That would become x times x times x times x. I have x 4 times. Negative 4 to the 3rd power. Notice I have that in parentheses. We're going to talk about that more in a little bit. So that would be negative 4 times negative 4 times negative 4. I have 3 negative 4s that I'm multiplying together. 1/3 squared. Remember when you have it to the 2nd power, when you have it to the 2nd power, we call that squared. Anything to the 3rd power is called cubed. So 1/3 squared is 1/3 times 1/3. 2 to the 4th power. That would be 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. What is 2 times 2 times 2 times 2? It's 16, right? So when I'm talking about powers, I would say that the 4th power of 2 is 16. That's the value of 2 to the 4th power. Now let's talk about signs with your exponents. I have to be very careful when it comes to positives and negatives. Remember I told you we'd talk about these parentheses in just a second? Well, here we are. So here I have 3 squared, 3 cubed, 3 to the 4th power, and negative 3 to the 4th power. When I want to simplify these, I just multiply them together. Any number raised, excuse me, any number that is positive raised to a positive power is a positive number. So that means if you have a positive base and a positive exponent, then you have a positive answer. So here I have a positive 3, positive 2. That's going to be a positive answer. What is 3 times 3? It's not 3 times 2. Remember, 3 times 3. You are never ever multiplying it by your exponent. It means that you have that many 3s. You have that many of your base. So 3 times 3 is 9, right? Positive base, positive exponent, positive answer. Positive base, positive exponent, positive answer. 3 times 3 times 3. What is that? 27, that's right. Okay, now I have 3 times 3 times 3 times 3. 3 to the 4th power. Positive base, positive exponent. So my answer will also be positive. What is it? 81, yes. But here I have what looks like a negative number, negative 3 to the 4th power. It's not actually a negative number. Remember that whenever you see that negative in front, that means the opposite of. So this is saying the opposite of 3 to the 4th power. When you see a negative with a number that has an exponent and no parentheses protecting that negative, parentheses surrounding that negative, but in between the exponent, then that means you're taking the opposite of this answer. We know that this answer is 81. So this is the opposite of 81, which is what? Negative 81. And that's all you have to do. Let's try some more. Here I have negative numbers. With negative numbers, they just follow your multiplication rule. I have an even number of negatives because I have two numbers I'm multiplying together, -3 and -3. So is that going to be positive or negative? Positive. And 3 times 3 is 9. Okay, here I have 3 negative numbers. So will my answer be positive or negative? Negative, because I have an odd number of negative numbers. And -3 cubed is -27. Okay, here, look, this time my negative is protected by parentheses. So because it's inside those parentheses, this time it is -3 times -3 times -3 times -3. And is that going to be a positive or a negative answer? Positive, yes, because you have an even number of negatives, 4 negatives. So the answer would be positive 81. Okay, now this one is the opposite because you have a negative on the outside of the parentheses as well as on the inside. So this is the opposite of -4 cubed. -4 cubed, we already know, is 81. So what's the opposite of 81? -81. Very good. So we can use these principles to solve problems like these. -3 cubed minus -3 squared plus -2 squared. So here I have the opposite of 3 cubed. What's 3 cubed? 27. So the opposite would be -27. Minus, here I have -3 squared. What's -3 squared? +9. So I have -9 plus -2 squared. +4, that's right, because I have an even number of negatives. So +4. And now I simplify. -27 minus 9, that would be the same as -27 plus a -9. What is that? -36. Plus 4. What does that equal? -32. Very good. Okay, let's try another one. -2 squared minus 4 times -3 cubed minus 2 times -2 squared minus 2. So here I really have the opposite of 2 squared. What's the opposite of 2 squared? -4, because 2 squared would be +4. So this is -4 minus 4 times, what would be here in parentheses? I have -3 cubed. 27, very good. Positive or negative? Well, my negative is protected by parentheses, so I have 3 negatives. That's an odd number of negatives, so my answer is negative. Now I have -2 squared. What is that? +4. So I have 2 times a +4 minus 2. Now I'll do my multiplication. So I have -4 minus. Now I have -4. Let me not put that minus yet. Here I have, remember, I keep my sign that's right in front of my number with it. So really I have a -4 times a -27. So what will that give me? It's going to give you a positive answer. And your positive answer would be, let me do my multiplication because I actually haven't really thought it through yet, 108. So 4 plus 108. Now I have a -2 and a +4, so that's negative 8. So we still have minus 8, and then minus 2. So negative 4 plus 108. 104 minus 8. 96, very good. Minus 2. 94, excellent. So your answer is 94.